The Portland Police Association represents sworn police officers in the city. It is one of the most powerful unions in the state and often weighs in on issues of public safety, including wading into the political realm. Sergeant Aaron Schmautz is president of the Portland Police Association to give us the perspective of cops on the street. He's been here several times since we started this program. So, Sergeant Schmautz, welcome back to Eye on Northwest Politics. Yeah. Portland Police rolled out their police body cam program in June. And this past week was the first time that Portland Police actually released footage from body cams. This was of an incident on August 24th when police shot and wounded a man armed with a handgun, a knife, and a hammer. But not all of the footage was released pending the ongoing investigation into the incident. This is what Bob Day, the chief, had to say about it.
It really does provide a perspective, but it's only one perspective. None of it is meant to be the whole story.
Well, he says most officers will be trained on the body cams by September. We're the last major city to go to body cameras. So what do you think of the rollout of the program so far, and what did you think of the release of that video last week?
So we are one of the last. I mean, the benefit of being last is you see where other people have been successful and had struggles. The release, I'm a big fan of transparency. Around our country, you've seen people have information and it doesn't get released quickly. I think it's really, really important for the public to see as quickly as possible kind of the answers to some questions. Now, these investigations do take time. They're homicide investigations, when you're using deadly force. So we want to make sure that we both can do a thorough and transparent investigation, but also kind of give the public answers. This first rollout, I think it was good from the standpoint that it was quick, it was transparent, but it also showed some of the kind of barriers to body cameras from the standpoint that, when officers are behind cars or they're holding on to, for instance, one officer's holding a 40mm launcher, your forearms are blocking some of the view. And also you can hear things. So for instance, a subject yelling something, you want to make sure you're being clear about who's saying what, so you're giving the public kind of the full picture. I just think kind of this is the future. This is where we are at as a community now. We can provide another perspective and hopefully answer some questions quickly that kind of lower the temperature as we're navigating accountability.
Are there any issues from this first rollout that you see that you want to address?
No, I mean, again, I think the biggest thing with this first one, the police officers were a pretty significant distance away from the individual they were interacting with. And so I immediately, people were like, well, we can't see anything. And I'm like, well, I mean, this is the challenge, right? I mean, we will be transparent. I thought the timing was good. I think we were 14 days before we released. I think that's really pretty quick to give as much of a picture as we can.
U.S. District Judge recently approved a tentative plan for a new community board for police oversight. It was approved by the voters in 2020. Now we hear it won't take effect until 2025. So from your perspective, would this new community oversight board provide even more transparency, or would it be something that you find intrusive? So
accountability matters. It matters that we have community oversight and that the community has some say. The way that this court hearing went, I think, kind of highlighted our greatest concern, which is that politics can push their way into an accountability system in such a way that it puts its thumb on the scale. I mean, the judge was very clear that he wanted to implement what the city put forward, but he wanted to wait until this election was over. And that should concern people because, again, this current council was elected. And they are ready to push quickly out through into a system that will function. And hearing someone say that, yes, we want to do a system, but we want to wait until a different group of people are elected, highlights our concern that this system is not an accountability system, but it's a political mechanism. And that is very concerning to us.
Moving forward, though, the concept of having some community oversight of what happens with police actions, is that something that you're in?
Yeah, yeah, and we've talked about this a couple times, but I think the big thing for us is what was developed. The voters voted to have a system. They didn't necessarily vote to have what was created. We were really hoping to push that back to the voters from the standpoint that whoever imposes discipline is really important, and we think having the expertise of a police chief making that final decision is important. The board, this new board itself, can't have anyone who has any expertise or history in law enforcement, and that concerns us because that's unlike any other professional board that exists. And also the funding. I mean, we are careening towards a fiscal cliff, and saying that 5% 5% of the police budget, no matter what, I mean, no matter whether you need it or not, must be spent on this system, should concern, I think, people who are paying attention to the city's finances.
You endorsed Portland City Commissioner Renee Gonzalez for mayor. You as in the Portland Police Association. Over 15 other candidates, including fellow city commissioners Megan Mapp and Carmen Rubio. Why endorse political candidates at all, and why Renee Gonzalez for mayor?
So, I mean, you know, the question about endorsements is always interesting to me. I think, you know, from our perspective, the PPA is really focused on a holistic approach to public safety. We want to make sure that who our electeds are understand the necessity for public safety, the role law enforcement plays. And this kind of goes both ways. You know, we've seen through a lot of these deflection conversations or other things that are going on, law enforcement's role in our society is becoming complicated, I think would be the best word you could use. And so we do hear from citizens. They want to know kind of what the perspective is of law enforcement. Commissioner Gonzalez, from the day he got elected, has been very, I think, clear about his mission in that he understands the role of law enforcement. He understands that we need to be courageous in changing some of the rules that we have. And he also has demonstrated that he will not bend his perspective or his policy proclivities based on just really loud politics. And I think that's what we need in our city right now.
Sergeant Aaron Smiles, thank you very much for being here on Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thank you.